I'm Sam Kawakami. In this video, I am going to show you how to create a class notebook. So first of all, go to your course and you can see the class notebook in the general channel. You cannot see it in the other channels, okay? So you need to go into the general channel and you can either click Set Up Class Notebook here, or in your top tab you have a Class Notebook tab. I recommend clicking on this tab. You'll use this tab later if you want to see the class notebook from within Teams. So here I can click on Set Up a One Class Notebook. A quick point is that you need to set up your class notebook from within Teams, not from within OneNote. From within OneNote you can create a notebook, but you cannot create a class notebook that has that link back to your class team. So you want to start it here. So I'm going to set up a OneNote class notebook, and I have a lot of content already created that I want to copy over. So content that's created already in OneNote. So I'm going to click From Existing Notebook Content. Okay. Now let me explain what the class notebook is here for a second. The class notebook has 4 sections. There's a collaboration space that teachers and all students can see and edit the content. One thing to be careful about is that if a student posts something, another student could go in and delete it, hypothetically. In the past, this space was not synchronously updating, so you could not use it to have groups editing one document at the same time. But in recent months, it has become synchronous updating, so you could use it in a class where you have students editing one document together. Now, content library is a type of one-way communication. So a teacher posts content here, but only the teacher can edit that content. Now, students can view this content, and if they want to make notes on it, they can actually copy the page down into their own personal notebook, but they cannot edit the content that other students will see. Only the teacher can edit it. Then you have a teacher-only section, which is a private space just for the teacher. Only the teacher can see it, and only the teacher can edit it. This is great if you have a page that you want to give to students later, like for example an answer page or some type of content like that. Then you have the student notebooks, and this is probably one of my favorite features of the class notebook. This is a section where every student will have their own individual section. Now, a student can see only their section. They cannot see the other student sections. But as a teacher, you can see all of the student sections. So a student section can be seen and edited by the teacher and the student. Okay, so that's a really useful way to have students turn in assignments that you want them to handwrite or something like that. Okay, so that's about the 4 sections in the class notebook. I'm going to go ahead and click on Next, and then go ahead and choose my content. One really nice thing is that you can actually add content from multiple OneNote notebooks. So I'm going to go ahead and be careful. You have your content library section and your teacher only section to add content to. So I'm going to add content to my content library, and I want to choose my Globetrotters template notebook. So I'm going to click Next. Now, I want to be careful. I don't want to copy the teacher only section into the content library. So I'm going to choose Content Library. And there is one kind of flaw to the system, and that is that you cannot copy a section group by itself. You have to copy the individual sections. So you'll copy the sections and you'll have to recreate your group in the OneNote notebook later. So I'm going to choose all of these sections though because I want to copy them all over. I'm going to pull down my textbook section. And if you forget a section, you can go into the notebook where the content is saved, and you can copy it over later if you forget something. So it's not a huge problem. So now I'm going to click Done, and that's for my content library. Now the teacher only section, I want to also add content because I have content here that has notes that I want to use during the class, but that I don't want the students to see. So I'm going to copy this over, and then I'm going to click on textbook and do the same thing. And it just takes a second to click. and I'm going to copy over my notes section as well, and then click done. Now I also have a kind of special skills up section that I've made for students, so I want to also add that content to my content library. So I can click add content, and I can click on another notebook. So I'm going to click on, I think it's in my general pages section. And if I click next, then I have a skills up section that I want to copy over. And this has content that students can use to improve their English skills. So I'm going to click done. So now you can see that I'm copying over quite a lot of sections. So once I've decided this, I'm going to go ahead and click on next. And now I talked about the student section. In that student section that they have their own personal notebook, you can choose what the sections are within their pages. Now, one warning, it is very easy to add a section later, but it's not so easy to remove a section. So you want to think carefully about the sections that you want to use. I've already decided on mine, so I like to keep handouts, but then I'm going to go ahead and delete these quizzes and delete these other ones. I have handouts, and then I have a section that I want to call major assignments. So I'm not going to have all of their individual homework in here, but their big assignments, I will have content pushed here. For example, I like to push my rubrics here because then it's easy for grading and students can see it. And then I'm going to add a section that I'm going to call personal notebook. And this is a section that I won't push content to, but that students can go ahead and copy and paste anything into it that they want. Students can also freely create sections in their notebook later, but they often don't. So I'm going to create these 3 sections for my students' private space. And I'm going to go ahead and click create. And then it's going to take probably about a good 5 minutes or so to create this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause on the recording, and once it's finished, I'll show you what's done. Okay, once all of your OneNote sections are copied over, Teams will send you a message in chat that says, yay, success, this was 46 sections of your class notebook have been copied over. I'm not going to show it to you because it would show some student names and things, but it'll send you a quick chat message. So what you can do then is you can see this is the class notebook. There's kind of a welcome page, and that's what shows up first. In order to see the content from within Teams, you'll need to click on this little kind of bookshelf icon, and then you can see that you've got welcome, collaboration space, content library, which is going to look a little bit messy right now because everything is out there. And, oh, it's not. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on a minute. And the teacher only section. Okay. So, now, what I recommend for editing things, though, is not to do it from within Teams, but to go over to OneNote and do it, because it's a little bit easier to edit things in OneNote. It's just a little bit more visual, and the tools are a little bit more intuitive, just the way they're displayed. So I'm going to hop over to OneNote, and right now, oops, as you can see in OneNote, oh, my class is not there. Actually, just a little bit of quick technical information. Your class notebook is saved in like the university server. So what OneNote does is the app is it actually just opens that notebook, and then you can access it and edit it. So what you need to do is add your notebook to the app. And you can add, you'll have to do this if you're using multiple devices. Like I like to access OneNote sometimes from my computer and sometimes from my iPad. So you'll need to add it to each device. So you can have different notebooks on different devices if you want. So all you have to do is click on Add Notebook at the bottom. And if you're on a computer, it automatically shows up there. If you're on a tablet, you have to it shows up maybe like under the bottom of the list of class notebooks. So then you need to find your notebook out of the list of all of the notebooks that you have, and go ahead and click on it, and then go to the bottom right and click on Open. And now it will open my class notebook in OneNote. Just going to take a few seconds. And I think I'm really happy about something, because I had said before that it didn't copy over these sections, but actually it did. So I'm actually quite surprised. It copied over all of the sections and kept the coloring and everything correct. It did not copy the section over from the other notebook that I had. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add a group section. So if I click, make sure I'm clicked on this top level of the content library, and if you go to the bottom, add section. If I click on this, oops, I didn't mean to left click on it. I didn't want to create that section. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click off it, and if I right click on it, I can delete the section. And delete. What I meant to do while I was in the content library is right click on add section. If you right click on add section, you get the option to either add a new section or add a new section group, and that's what I wanted to do. And it didn't show up in the right place, so I'm going to drag it. Actually, I'm going to call it, I usually call this section Skills Up. And one nice thing in Teams, that's not going to work. I have to actually delete that. Sorry. You have to actually, I think the section notebook can't be dragged under another category. So I want to put it in the content library, but I think, yeah, I'm going to have to actually delete it. Okay. Delete. So what I need to do is go back into the content. Maybe click on one of these tabs and then do right click on add section, new section group, and now it's in the correct place. Okay, good. So, Skills Up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drag all of these sections that are part of the Skills Up for students in here. Now, in Teams, everything is automatically always in alphabetical order. But a really nice thing in the class notebook is that you can actually change the order however you want. So it's kind of a nice feature. And I usually like to put pronunciation at the top, just my personal preference, and then obviously I want other at the bottom. And so now I have all of my things in there, all of my pages in there. And these are the pages that the OneNote posts about how to use it. You can keep them or you can delete them. I usually just delete the section because I don't need to keep it out there. And then I have all of my sections. And that is how you create your class notebook. So really quickly, I talked about that you can easily copy sections. So if I want to copy something, right now I don't have any students in my course, so I can't see it. But here's the 4 sections: collaboration space, content library, teacher only. And if I had students in the course, I would see their name, each time. Now, another quick note about Teams and OneNote is that all of the names are in kanji as they are in the school database. So, there's one kind of cool thing that you can do in OneNote though. It won't change it in Teams, but in OneNote, you can add their name in English in Romanji characters either before their kanji or after it, and it will affect the order that it displays in. So that's kind of a nice thing that you can do in the OneNote notebook. You can rename the student sections. And that's it for creating the class notebook, and I'll talk more about using it in another video.